Veggie Gamers, today we're going to look back at 2 Instagram videos and look at the game Aroma, a game about essential oils and learning about different smells, and Werewords, a game that you can use to practice content-specific vocabulary or use for English language teaching. So on today's episode, this is a VideoCast episode of Board Game with Education, which that means if you're listening to this on our podcast, awesome. Thank you for joining us there. I recommend you also subscribing to our YouTube channel just because there's going to be some more video content coming out on YouTube. We're also going to be releasing our podcast for season 12 on YouTube as well, but we're also going to send it through our normal podcast feed, so you'll always be able to access it there. But this episode in particular, I'm going to show some Instagram videos and I'm going to display some components from the game. You don't need to be able to see it to still get what's going on in the discussion or my chat. But I recommend checking out the video because some of those components in the games are really cool, like the essential oil. The way that you can kind of smell the vials is really cool. The components in the game kind of neat. So if you're on the podcast, come over to YouTube and also be sure to subscribe to us on Instagram. I do these videos once a week, talk about a specific game, and we do some live chats on Instagram as well. So stick around until after the 2 videos. I have some more to share for you about Board Game with Education. I want to talk about the game Aroma. This is a really clever game. It's about smelling because it's Aroma is the name of the game. Aroma, a game of essence. So it's on Kickstarter right now, and I want to talk about it because I think it's doing some pretty clever things that you don't really see in board games, and I'm excited to share it with you. And again, you can go to Kickstarter and search Aroma, and it should pop up. You might have to search a game of essence, but I had a chance to play it with my wife and her sister and my brother-in-law, her husband, and also my mother-in-law. So it was actually a lot of fun. We had a few moments where we were playing the game and we were laughing uncontrollably. I teared up a little bit in playing the game because I was laughing so hard. It's not necessarily designed to be like a fun party-style game in that sense, but it definitely has opportunities to create those moments in the game. We played the first version of the game. So there's 4 different game modes, and the game modes are very unique and very different. Very simple rule sets too, which makes them really great game modes to kind of pick up and play. The first one we played was called Discover, and it's really takes that idea of games like BS, or there's a Sheriff of Nottingham, if you're familiar with that game, where you're trying to trick the other players into what it might be. So you take one of your little vials here. I want to show you. This is what the game comes with. It comes with these little, I guess, aroma kits. So you have different types of scents. In the first game, you randomize all of these. So they're not categorized, but normally these represents different scents like plants, floral, trees, or citrus. But in the game we played, you randomly select the scents and you put them in the different boards or containers. And what you do is you take one, you smell it. And you don't have to smell it correctly. So that's why it's kind of fun if you don't really understand a lot of these smells. Like, there are some things in here that I had no idea what they smelled like marigold. I kind of had an idea, but not really. Or bergamot. It's kind of like a citrusy smell too, but distinguishing that between grapefruit or lemon and lime, it's really tough to do. So you don't need to be able to do that when you play this version of the game. You smell it and you make up what the smell might be. Or you could actually guess what the smell is. And then the other person has to call you out. They have to say, yes, you are correct. That is what it smells like. Or say, no, it's not correct. So for example, I would smell this. I would kind of be like, that's definitely lemon. And then I would pass it off to you. You would have a chance to smell it. And you could say, I agree with you, that is lemon. Or you could say, I don't agree with you, that is not lemon. And you could actually do double or nothing for 2 points or 0 points. If it's not lemon and you say, oh, it's actually lime. So really clever. Another way to win that game is by getting all of your smells out. So everyone being able to guess your smells. You might be playing as the plants. So I'm excited to try the other game modes. I wanted to share that with you guys because it's one game that we've been playing recently, and I hope to do more videos like this of different games in the future. Again, this game is on Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter.com. You can search Aroma. They're trying to get it out before Christmas, so it makes a really good Christmas gift. Kickstarter's only there for like 3 more days, so then again, check it out. And hopefully we'll have another video like this in the future. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm live again on Friday. I'm going to try to do this every Friday. If you're new to our Instagram channel, I'm Dustin at Board Game with Education. We're going to talk about Werewords. We're an online community and store based on board games for learning. So most of our games, or all of our games in the store, are either great for different learning environments, great games for families, great games to play at home to also incorporate some sort of learning. I know all board games, there's different skills that you can develop through playing board games, but we really curate our selection for board games for learning. So I'm going to talk about one that I really enjoy, that I've played in my class teaching English as a second language. I've also used it at English Club. I've used it with some international students. I was judging a competition afterwards. I could just break out this game. It's very mobile. There's an app for it too, so I could break it out, play it. I taught people how to play it in just like 2 to 3 minutes. We finished a round in about 5 to 7 minutes, and we played another round. So it's a really fun game to play when you have some extra time. Throw it in your backpack if you're a teacher. You have some extra time at some point during the school day. But I want to just share with you what the game is all about and why I think it's great for a learning environment. So the game is based off 2 games. It kind of meshes together 2 games. One is a traditional like road trip game called 20 Questions. In 20 Questions, the main person thinks of a word or clue or thing, person, place, idea, anything, and everyone else asks 20 questions. The questions have to be yes or no questions. So through process of elimination, you can try to figure out what the thing is before the 20 questions are up. So for example, I might think of the idea of car, and the people guessing might say, is it a person? You say no. Is it a thing? Yes. Is it bigger than a house? No. So now we know it's smaller than a house, we know it's a thing, and you get the idea. So you kind of try to figure out what the thing is. So it takes that idea and mashes it together with the game called Werewolf or Mafia. So in this game, essentially the game is based off of secret roles. So everybody has a secret role, whether you're a werewolf, so someone working against the village, or the villagers, so someone trying to get the werewolves out of the village. So the game takes these 2 ideas. You play 20 questions. The werewolves are trying to work against the village, trying to not let the village guess the secret word, while the villagers are trying to guess the secret word. Really clever idea, really awesome, really great for review in the classroom. I've used it to review some vocabulary. I mean, really for English language, you could do it without review, and some students will learn some newer words. There's a bit of peer-to-peer teaching involved in that, so it's really important that maybe students are not too low of a level, the levels aren't too wide, and you're using words that are really close to maybe what level they're at. Really great for content-specific vocabulary too. Whether you're teaching English for specific purposes or you're teaching science. You can review all of the vocabulary throughout the semester or quarter that you've covered in science class with the game. And why it's really awesome is the app is customizable, so you can create your own word lists. I've done it to where I was playing with my wife and my cousin and my uncle, and I went into the app and I created a secret word, my uncle's name. So it was Uncle Russ was the secret word. So it was a lot of fun to kind of play around with that, and then they didn't realize I could customize it, so they were a bit surprised that was the secret word at the end of it. So really cool, called Werewords. There's just a traditional base version, and then there's also a deluxe version. So the deluxe version can play up to 20 people. Really, you could play the game with as many as you want, but I think probably it gets a little crazy with too many people. But why can be played with 20 is there are enough roll cards to go around for 20 people. You could really kind of create your own roll cards on pieces of paper if you're playing in the classroom. You have more than 20 people. But I think it's a really great game. I've had a lot of fun using it in my learning environment. You can find it in our store, boardgamewitheducation.com. You can actually go through that or our Instagram or Facebook to get the game. I'll be back next week to talk about a new game. Thank you. Was Aroma and Werewords. I'm curious to hear what you think. What do you think about those two games? Have you played them before? Are they games that you would consider using in whatever learning environment you're in, or would you just want to play them at home with family or friends? Let me know. Leave a comment below on our YouTube channel, or if you're listening to the podcast, you can come find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, anything. Just tweet us. Use that @ symbol, or you can just find one of our social media posts about this video, about this podcast episode. Leave a comment and let us know. And moving into season 12. So this is season 11 of the Board Game with Education podcast. We have 2 more interview-based episodes. We're lining up co-hosts for those episodes to put that content out moving forward. But after those 2 interview episodes, we're going to move into strictly video content. That doesn't mean that we won't have a podcast. We'll still have a podcast, but most of the content, if not all the content, will be through a video medium, and then we'll be using the audio from that to add it to our podcast. So we want to ensure we're still creating a very strong audio experience. So if you're listening on our podcast, let us know what you think. If you're on YouTube, let us know what you think. We're super curious. We're always trying to create content for our community and also to engage more gamers and educators and homeschoolers for using board games for learning. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll be back again with a video cast in a couple weeks and our podcast next week.